All right, ladies and gents, in today's video, we're going over my new Old Town AutoPilot 120 kayak. We're going to go over how I have mine rigged, the costs involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how much money I spent on this thing and have into it, what you need to get started if you decide to get one, and the pros and cons of owning a kayak like this. So let's see how we do. First thing, let's go over what does this thing come with out of the box, and what do you need to put into it to get on the water, just the basics. All right, guys, so what do you get when you order this Old Town kayak from the factory? And you get just about everything you would need to get on the water. It comes with the 45-pound thrust motor with the spot lock. It comes with the seat. It comes with a battery box, which is under here, but no battery, so you're going to need a battery. And then you get the controllers in this little tackle box here. So you get your iPilot remote, which connects directly to the trolling motor here. And then you also get this kill switch, which goes right here and just snaps right on there. So if you can attach this, so say if you're standing up and you fall out and the motor's going, it'll pull this switch and immediately stop it. And this remote here comes with a lanyard, so you can wear it around your neck and get out on the water and don't have to worry about dropping it or anything, because this thing is not waterproof and it does not float. So you definitely do not want to drop this in the water, or else you're not going to be fishing that day unless you had a spare remote. But I think these remotes are around 200 and something bucks. So best to either mount it on the boat, which I'll show you a little bit later, or wear this lanyard around your neck to make sure that you don't drop it in the water. Now, moving on to some of the features. On this side, you have a little piece of string with a T-handle on it, and what that does, a string runs up to these pulleys right down in here and attaches up here to the motor. So what you can do is you pull on this and it lowers your motor down just like that. And then if you want to release it, just let go, and there's little grooves in here that will correct the prop and pop that motor right back out. And then moving to the other side of the boat, there's a handle right over here. And this allows you to raise and lower your rudder, which is right back there. And I have it strapped down for towing purposes, but once you take that bungee off, you just pull up on this handle and that'll pop it right into the water. And then when you're done or gonna beach it or put it on the trailer, you put it up and it'll pop that thing right back up. Now your rudder controls are these foot pedals right here, and they're adjustable. So you just pull up and you can slide them forward and back, however long your legs are, and adjust them as you go. And they're both independently adjustable. So you can adjust one longer than the other, whatever's more comfortable for you. And all you do is push on this with your foot. So if you want to go left, you push to the left. And if you want to go right, you push to the right, and it's just that simple. Now up at the bow, we have a little compartment here that you can store stuff in here, but it's very small. So it's more of a access port. But you can get stuff into the boat. Like down here, I have a battery for my fish finder, which I'll show you that in a little bit. But mainly it's a good area to run wires through, because what it comes with is these ports that are ready made to run wires through. And then Old Town provides you with these extra clips so you can customize those ports, and they have little foam inserts to help keep water out when you put wires in there, and connective grease and all these things, so you can customize this thing electrically however you want to do it. Like over here I have a port and I have my fish finder cables running through. Now as we work our way back, it's got two rod holders up in the front here that are angled forward, and these are really well-designed rod holders. Like I use them a lot in the videos. Like you'll see me catch a fish, I usually rest my rod in here when I'm dealing with the fish, or either that one or that one. Really nice rod holders, so much so you don't really have to have additional rod holders unless you're doing something specific like trolling or something like that. But really, I really like the way they position these rod holders. They're really easy to use and extremely helpful. As we continue to work our way back, this is a dry storage compartment, which is real cool. And it's spring-loaded, it just pops it open, but it's got little rubber gaskets in here. And I usually keep my cell phone, some lighting equipment, flashlights, that kind of thing in here. And when you seal this, it keeps everything dry, so there's no splashing on here, the water won't get in. And then these little bungees, you could slide something else in here, but it would have to be something you didn't mind getting a little water on it. And then if we pop this up, the seat, here's our battery box, and here's an access point. And this access point is really not meant for storage, it's more designed for wiring and such, and I'll show you what I have in there shortly when I show you my setup. And then as we work our way back, we have the back area of storage, and this is a really big spot. You don't really have to have a black pack or any of that other stuff. When I first started fishing and first started using this thing, I would just throw my whole tackle bag back here and just lay it down there. I wouldn't even bungee it down. These bungees comes loose. And the boat's so stable, I never had any feeling that I was going to lose any of that. I'd have a tackle bag back here, sometimes my drone backpack, and a cooler with food in it and drinks. So there's lots and lots of room back here if you decide that you don't want to get a black pack right away. And this deal is kind of cool. This is a little cap, so when you don't have the motor on, it goes right up here and covers this port. So when you're towing, you don't get a lot of road debris up into the kayak, especially if you have a cover on it. All right, so what are you going to need to buy to get this thing in the water day one? And essentially, what you're going to need is a battery. The box just comes with the box, but everything is pre-wired in here, so I could show you. So all you got to do is put the battery in there and bolt it up, and that's it. And it's all set to go. Plugs in right here. Your motor plugs in right up here. Real easy to do. You're going to need a paddle. So you got a little paddle here because you can't, when you're starting off at the beach, it's tough to put the motor down. You're going to want to use your paddle to get out a little deeper so you can deploy your motor. And last but not least, a PFD. You're gonna need a life jacket. You got your life jacket on, and you are good to go. And that's all you need to get out on the water. And then the accessories and all that other stuff come later, and I'll show you all that next. All right, now that you guys have seen the basics, let's go into how I have mine exactly rigged up and configured to film videos and catch them trout. All right, guys, we'll start off at the bow again. This bow storage compartment, like I said, it's good for wiring, but this is where I keep my my battery for my fish finder. And this is a Naqua 20 amp hour portable battery that's water resistant. Really cool battery. Lasts a long time, especially if you're just running a fish finder. This thing so far, I didn't charge it at all on my last trip to Caples, and I ran it for 4 full days, and it still has a lot of charge left in it. So really good battery, and I just like to keep it up in here in the bow, and there's a little kind of cutout in there for the fish finder on the outside that kind of lets it sit right in there, and even towing it, it doesn't get bounced around or move around much. So I keep the battery in there, and real good port for it. Now moving up, we got the Garmin Striker 7SV fish finder. I have it on a mount. I believe it's a Railblaza mount, but you can get any kind of mount, whether it's Yak Attack or Railblaza, or there's tons of companies out there that make these different types of mounts, and you can customize these things any way you like it. And as you can see, like I said earlier, I have the wires coming out of this port, which is near watertight. And then right here, I have this little clip-on adjustable post that I mount my camera onto, and it allows me to move it around, and it's still stable enough that when the boat's bouncing, it doesn't change the adjustment. So this is a really cool little deal I got on Amazon. And I'll show you the mount, or where you can mount the transducer for this fish finder. And right behind where the motor is, if I can pull this forward, you can see a cable coming up from behind this mount. You can just remove this mount. It's 4 screws, and the transducer cable will go from there into the hull down into here, and then I run it up to this port right here. Now the transducer is mounted on the underneath right down here, and you can see the cable where it runs up. It has a little hole for it where it goes up behind the motor, and then this mount comes with the boat and is removable, and you can configure it any way to fit any type of transducer. So like even this one has this fish finder has an extra large transducer, so I had to take this off and use a Dremel tool to get it up higher. So I wanted it above this keel here, so when I dragged it onto the pavement or the sand, if there are any rocks, it didn't touch that transducer. And as you can see, the transducer is perfectly protected, and I haven't gotten a scratch on it, and I've taken it through some pretty interesting areas already. So really cool deal how they did this. And the motor ends up sitting right below it, and it actually doesn't provide very much interference at all with the fish finder. When the motor's running, you'll sometimes get a little bit of mild artifact on there, but you can still see the fish. So really happy with the way they set this up at Old Town. Now we'll move on to the Yak Attack track pack. This is a real cool deal. It's a real good storage deal that you can have quick access to. And these drawers or lids open up independently. So I keep a lot of terminal tackle in here, my scale. Sometimes I'll throw other jigs in here that I'm not using. So I have some stuff that's right at the ready. And if you close this, then you can open up the bottom one, and your gear won't fall out of the top deal here. So really cool. So I keep some spoons in here, some extra leader line, things I'm just going to need right away, so I don't have to turn around and get into my black pack storage. And as we go over here, I mounted a little Yak Attack 4-inch rail right here, and I got one of these flexible cell phone or camera mounts off of Amazon. And this wire is really cool because you can move it any which way. And then I use the little GoPro mount that screws right into the back of this Old Town controller, and now I don't have to wear it around my neck, and I can position this thing any way I want and have easier access to the controls. So really cool deal. Inexpensive setup. Didn't take much to do, but really helpful. And it's just one of those things, like when you decide to customize your boat, what are you going to do differently, you know? And then across the way here, I have a rod holder mount for those times when I'm going to do some bait and weight fishing, or if I'm going to troll with this. But I haven't done much of that since I've owned it, but I plan to. And this is a Yak Attack rod holder. It's what's it called? A Zuka 2. Really nice rod holder. I happen to have these before with my other kayak, and they work real well. And what's good about them is the mount sits right there, so I can take this off when I'm getting in and out of the boat. And then when I'm in, I can just put this on real quick, and it's locked in. And then if I want to move the position, I just push this button and turn it, and it locks in that position. So really neat little rod holder if you're gonna do some bait and weight or some trolling. And then this deal is a fish gripper, but for real big fish. So if we ever catch something really big, they're harder to get a hold of in a kayak, and it's got these real wide plastic teeth on it, so it won't rip the fish's mouth, and it clamps down on them, so it's a lot easier to handle fish when you're sitting down in a kayak with all the gear in here. Now, I don't do a lot of night fishing, but there are times when I've gotten up early in the morning, so I put some lights on here. And these are some lights I just got on Amazon, really inexpensive battery operated lights. And I have a little remote in here that allows me to turn them on and change the colors however I want. Yeah, so you got blue and all different colors, so it gives me a little lighting in the bottom here if I'm out in the dark for a little while. And then I got these other cool deals, little lights, let me turn these off, that are removable, so you don't have to hardwire them in case I go out in the dark, so other boats can see me. So I got a red and a green one here, and these are just little battery operated lights, just like that. So now I got bow lights, and then on the back I got this old Railblaza pole mount that I put some of the same lights on that happen to be white, so they can see the front and the rear of the boat when I'm out in the dark. And these are just got these little rubber deals. It's kind of like rubber bands, and you just hook them on anywhere. And since they're LEDs and so small, these things will last forever with one battery in them. So sometimes I forgot to turn them off and they're still going the next day. So really cool lights, and really inexpensive if you don't want to spend the money to hardwire all the lighting up in your kayak. Now if we lift up the seat here, and also there is another attachment where you can lock your seat down so it doesn't fold up. I usually don't though, because me sitting in it keeps it stable. I put a little battery meter right here, a little cheap deal I got on Amazon, and it tells you how much battery you have left. Real easy to install, but it's real good, especially if I'm out on the water and I'm concerned. I could flip the seat back and just hit a button and see what the battery's at. And then down here is a storage. It's like an access port for wiring. But what's important about that is this deal, the Minn Kota navigation puck. And these are really cool deals. It's not something you absolutely have to have when you get the kayak, but it's a really cool deal because it allows you to make micro adjustments as far as your position when you're in spot lock. Now I'll show you how it's wired up in here. Open this deal up, and I've got another Naqua 10 amp hour battery down in here that I just velcroed down to the hull, so when I'm towing it around it doesn't bounce around. And then it has some wires that hook right up to this Minn Kota navigation sensor, which has Bluetooth, and it pairs with our iPilot motor. And I'll show you a little video of how this works and exactly what it does. It's pretty awesome. All right, now once you have the nav puck paired to your trolling motor, you have basically these 4 buttons around in this circle here to navigate, and each press of the button is 5 feet in each direction. So the plus is forward, minus is backwards. This arrow sends you to the left or the right, and this one sends you to the left. So if I hit the plus arrow one time, it beeps, and you see the motor reacts and starts powering us forward about 5 feet. Now if I hit it twice, it'd be 10 feet. So now it's going to drive us forward in that same line about 10 feet. And let's say I want to get closer to the shore over here. I'll hit this arrow button one time, and see, it automatically moves me about 5 feet. Simple as that. Not necessary when you first get your Old Town, but it is really cool for those micro adjustments, especially when you're in a place with close quarters, like canals, and out by if you're in a creek, like I was in Rush Creek recently, and really would come in handy in that case. All right, now get to the main storage, the old Yak Attack Old Town Black Pack. Really, really cool piece of equipment. Originally, I didn't get one because, like I said, I could fit all my tackle bag back here and all those things. But with the rod holders the way they are, and keeping everything in this bag instead of bringing my whole tackle bag, I could really specialize as far as what equipment I wanted to bring out. And really, really cool deal. This is the 13 by 16 black pack, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. And also I still have lots of room in the back and even on the sides to put stuff if I wish. But inside, I'll show you some of the stuff I take with me. I got my tackle boxes. This is very important. I have an extra prop with a pin in case I happen to hit a rock or something. Because one thing that's very interesting about these Old Towns is this kill switch. This is a prop wrench. So if you bust a prop and you're out on the water, you can use this and take that nut off. And then in here, there's even a spare pin for the prop, which goes underneath the prop. So really, really cool feature. And then within this prop, I also have another pin that's inside of it. So that's just something for just in case. I've never had an incident where I've come close to smacking the prop, but I'm sure it could happen. But I have some, this is camera equipment, gloves, more gloves, a bunch of my jigs, some extra line. I'll even throw some food or drinks if it's cool in here, and I won't even bring a cooler. So really, really nice piece of equipment, and these rod holders are a really, really good deal and hold the rod securely. They even have little hooks. If you're worried about getting this rough weather, you can hook around the rod so they don't fly out, but I don't see how, honestly, they're going to come out of there. All right, guys, one thing I want to mention real quick. When stowing rods in your black pack, right behind your head, I found a good trick is to break them down into two pieces without untying your rigs. Reason being is, if you can see in this clip, this is a 9'6" rod, and sometimes when you're casting, especially sitting down and you aren't paying attention, you may hang up into your other rod. So the best way to do that is to just, if you have a two-piece rod, just separate it, carefully bring both pieces together, and then take your lure or jig, like in this case a super tube, and hook it right here in the lure keeper of the rod. And now you have it in two pieces, and then we can go over to our black pack and put it neatly in the rod holder, and it holds it just perfectly even in two pieces. And now your rod is out of the way, and you don't have to worry about accidentally casting into it. So just a quick tip, because unfortunately I speak from experience. All right, now after fishing this quite a bit, and I really love it, I can give you the pros and the cons. But fortunately, the pros way outweigh the cons, but there are some drawbacks to this type of kayak. Under the pro section, you got the Minn Kota motor with the spot lock. That is just awesome, like unbelievable. It's a game changer, especially fishing. It just, you don't have to pull anchors anymore. You don't have to weigh anchors. It's just a great tool. Another one is this thing is super stable. I've never been in a kayak like this. It really feels like a boat more than a kayak. You can sit side saddle in it. I can sit on my knees. I can stand in it. I can do just about anything in this kayak, and I have zero fear of it flipping over. I mean, you could fall out of it, but I don't see how you could flip it. I don't think I could if I tried. Maybe I'll do something in the pool sometime and see if I can actually flip it. But I don't see how you can. It's that stable. It's really like your own personal boat. The biggest pro to me is it's like your own personal bass boat. It is an unbelievable fishing machine. I can go anywhere with this thing. It's lightweight. It's easier to use than my boat, and I can go more places. Like in this clip, I'm in Rush Creek in this thing, and spot locking and fishing, and there's no way I could get back there in my boat, or if I had leaders on, the water was too deep. Just awesome. Now, under cons, there's the cost. It's not cheap. It's an expensive boat. It's not something to be that I purchased lightly, but I fish a lot, and I rode in Jessica's, Esteban's wife's kayak, and I was sold. Just all the features it had and how comfortable I felt fishing in it. But it is expensive, so it is an investment. So you need to really carefully weigh that as far as, do you fish a lot? A lot of people don't have all that kind of money just laying around. And the other con would just be, and this isn't that big of a deal to me, but I had to mention it, is there's not a lot of dry storage. There's a little compartment up front that I showed you guys, but you can't really store a lot in there. So that is an issue with some people, not with me. I don't really see an issue with that, but that is something to consider if you have some things that you really want to keep dry. There's not a lot of places to put it, so that's something to think about as well. Now, what you've been waiting for is cost breakdown, and I'll put down both here. One just to get on the water, and the other is everything I've put into mine with the fish finders and all the little gadgets and nets and all those things, the trailer. It all adds up, but this is what I put into it. You can load this in a vehicle or a truck. A friend of mine puts it in his truck, but I just didn't want to do that. I wanted a lot more ease in launching and loading. And with this trailer, I can do it with one hand. It's very, very simple, but the trailer's expensive. So, and then you got a place to store it. So there are things to consider, but you can, I see guys put it on the roofs of cars, even though it weighs about 85 pounds with no gear on it, or in back of their truck. So it's up to you, choose how you want to do it. I just opting for the trailer, hoping to buy actually a second Old Town and sell off my old Native. So the trailer was a must for me, but it may not be for you. So these are things to consider, and you can get one of these and get on the water without spending as much as I did, and just configure it differently. All right, ladies and gents, there you have it. Great kayak. I can't recommend them highly enough, but they are spendy, so that's something to consider. But if you have the money and you love to fish like I do, absolutely outstanding purchase. Like I am extremely happy with it. I love fishing in it, and I don't know how they're going to improve it. I'm sure they will come out with improvements, but I'm really anxious to see what they would do to make it as better than it already is. I really love the boat, so definitely worth a look. So with that, if you want any of the custom baits or the equipment that I use on this channel from time to time, there's a QR code right up here. If you want any of the Golden State Fishing custom baits, the TRUDAVE waders, the high sea waders or boots, the Katana rods or the WaterLand sunglasses, click on this QR code and it'll take you to a link tree that has links to all those sites plus discount codes. All the companies on there have discounts up to 15% off if you choose to buy something. And I also have links in this video's description with the passcodes and hyperlinks to get the discounts on all those equipment. So definitely give them a look. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them here. Any links to any of the equipment I showed you that I have on the boat, just let me know and I will send it to you. Just leave a comment. Always remember to like and subscribe and share the videos. Really helps me out, helps the channel out, and shows me that I'm on the right track and putting out good content for you guys. And with that, I hope to see you guys out on the water and tie lines.